Hi, grade 10s. It's Mr. McLeod here. I hope everybody's doing okay at home, trying to learn as best they can off the internet and things that their teachers post. I thought I would make a quick video today to cover our last big factoring topic, which was factoring by decomposition. There's a number of videos about this on YouTube, um, but I thought I would make my own video just to cover it my own way. So, factoring by decomposition. We have to use this method when we have a trinomial and the first term, the x squared term, has a number in front, a coefficient. All right, what do we do? Well, again, we have to start off finding two numbers. So the two numbers that we were trying to find have these special properties. They have to have a product or multiply to get 2 times 6, which in this case is 12. So they have to have a product of 12. I'm going to put that over here. So we have to find two numbers that multiply or have a product of 12. And also, the two numbers have to add up to get this middle number, which in this case is 7. So they have to add up or have a sum of 7. So sometimes the two numbers will be obvious, and sometimes they will not be obvious. So what can we do? We can start listing all the numbers that multiply together to get 12. So we have 1 times 12 is 12. Okay, but 1 plus 12 is not 7. So those are not the two numbers we're looking for. What else multiplies to get 12? Well, 2 times 6 multiplies to get 12, but 2 plus 6 is not 7. So what else multiplies to get 12? Well, 3 times 4 gives you 12. And look at that, 3 plus 4 is 7. So the two numbers we're looking for, or the two factors we're looking for, involve these numbers, 3 and 4. Those are our two numbers that we need, that we're looking for. Okay, so what do we do with those two numbers? That's the big thing. Here's what we do. We're going to rewrite this trinomial. Okay, so 2x squared. But we're going to break down or decompose this middle term using the numbers we found. Okay, so you can see that we can rewrite 7x as 3x plus 4x, right? And then of course we have plus 6 on the end there. Okay, so we've rewritten this middle term 7 into two terms that add to get that 7x, 3x plus 4x. Okay, so that's the first step. Rewrite that middle term using the two numbers that we found. Okay, next step. Next step is we're going to look at, now we have four terms, so we're going to look at this in two parts. We look at the first two terms. First two terms, 2x squared plus 3x. Is there a common factor in these first two terms? Yeah, there is actually. So this 3x has an x in it, and this 2x squared has an x as well. So x is a common factor. So just looking at these first two terms, we pull out x as a common factor. All right. And then we divide each term, of course, by the x. So 2x squared divided by x is 2x. And 3x divided by x is just 3. Okay? And one thing you always have to keep in mind is that when we are factoring, we should always be able to get back to the step above. So we could check this, for example, by multiplying x times 2x is 2x squared, and x times 3 is 3x. Okay, next we just look at these last two terms and pull out a common factor from there. So between 4x and 6, is there any number that divides evenly into both of those terms? Sure, it's 2. So we pull out a positive 2 as a common factor. Divide 4x by 2 is 2x. And 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, we're almost done. Now, look at this first term here. So we have x times 2x plus 3. So in this term, x is a factor, and 2x plus 3 is also a factor. In this term here, 2 is a factor, but also 2x plus 3 is a factor. So, in fact, 2x plus 3 is a common factor. 2x plus 3, pull that out as a common factor, okay? And what is multiplying the 2x plus 3 in this term? It's x. And in this term over here, what's multiplying the 2x plus 3? 2. All right, so there you have it. 2x squared plus 7x plus 6 factors into 2x plus 3 bracket x plus 2. And just as a reminder, we can always check by multiplying our binomials by foiling the binomials out. So let's do a quick check here. 2x plus 3 times x plus 2. And we multiply the first terms together and the outside terms together, which is 2x squared plus 2x times 2 is 4x. And then we multiply the inside terms together and the last terms together. So 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, and last thing we can do is add the two middle terms together. So 2x squared. 4x plus 3x is 7x plus and 6. So there you have it. Even though it doesn't look that way, this 2x plus 3 times x plus 2 is in fact equal to the original trinomial, which is 2x squared plus 7x plus 6. So factoring is just the process of converting this series of terms that are being added, so converting a sum, things that are being added, into things that are being multiplied together, factors that are being multiplied together. Okay, let's do one more example here. And I know I'm going through quickly. Feel free to pause the video and to give yourself time to write down some of this stuff. Okay, so here we have 3x squared minus 2x minus 8. The first step is to find two numbers that multiply to get this first number times the last number. Okay, so we need two numbers that have a product of 3 times negative 8 is negative 24, and also that have a sum or add up to get negative 2. Okay, so what are our factors here? So we need two numbers that multiply to get negative 24 and add up to get negative 2. So if the two numbers multiply to get a negative number, that tells you that one of them is positive and one of them is negative. And if they add up to get a negative number, that tells you that the bigger number is negative. So what two numbers multiply to get negative 24? Well, 1 and negative 24. But of course, those don't add up to negative 24. Try again. 2 and negative 12. Okay, 2 and negative 12 doesn't add up to get negative 2. Try again. 3 and negative 8. Well, 3 minus 8 is not negative 2. Okay, how about another one here? 4 and negative 6. And look at that. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. So those are our numbers that we're going to use to break down, decompose, or rewrite the middle term here. So 4 and negative 6. Okay, so we rewrite the trinomial but break down this middle term into the two terms using the numbers that we found. So I'll do it in a different color here. Plus 4x minus 6x. Okay, and of course, 4x minus 6x is negative 2x's minus 8. Good. Next step is to look at just the first two terms and pick out a common factor. So 3x squared plus 4x. This term has an x, this term has an x. X is a common factor. So pull out x as a common factor. And just a note too, it won't always just be x. Sometimes there will also be a number with the x that's part of it that is a common factor. Okay, 3x squared divided by x is 3x. 4x divided by x is just 4. Again, you can do a little check. X times 3x is 3x squared. X times 4 is 4x. Next, look at the last two terms. Common factor those. Negative 6x and negative 8. Well, negative 2 is a common factor because both terms are divisible by negative 2. So pull out negative 2 as a common factor. Just as a note, if your first term is negative, then your common factor should also be negative. All right, negative 6x divided by negative 2 is 3x, and negative 8 divided by negative 2 is 4. All right, in this first term here, we have x times 3x plus 4. X is a factor. 3x plus 4 is a factor. Second term is negative 2 times 3x plus 4. 2 is a factor, and 3x plus 4 is a factor. In this first term, 3x plus 4 is a factor. In the second term, 3x plus 4 is a factor. It's a common factor. So 3x plus 4 is pulling out as a common factor. And 3x plus 4 is being multiplied by x in that first term and being multiplied by negative 2 in the second term. And I want you to notice too that this is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for the numbers inside the brackets in this first term to be the same as the numbers inside the brackets in the second term. All right, and that becomes your common factor. Okay, I hope this helps. I'm going to put some practice questions on the Google Classroom. Feel free to continue to send me questions on the classroom or through email, and I'll do my best to answer them as quick as I can. I'm not going to be posting anything over Good Friday or Easter, so I want everybody to have a safe and happy Easter weekend, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.